I'm a pusher. I'm a doer. I'm a goal digger.
Oh, I like that. A
I'm
gold digger.
Yeah.
Oh. Ooh.
Yeah. Bad boy, baby. Ralph Tresvant. Mickey Smalls. Listen. Yeah, baby. Listen to me. Oh, yeah.
You're on the pod, man. We've got Sofija Stojkovic with us here today. She's a supermodel based out of LA. She's doing a lot of cool things, and she is gorgeous, as you can see.
Thank you so much.
So we are so happy to have you. Thank you for coming. Tell me a little about yourself. What do you do right now? I mean, you're modeling, but you're part of a management company?
Yeah, so we are a boutique modeling agency, also an influencer agency. We are capable of just like setting up lots of fashion events, and we throw together all kinds of stages, pop-up events, all kinds of stuff. Like right now we're gonna go do Coachella. So last time we did the Super Bowl, we threw a huge event. Mario Lopez was there. He hosted our whole show, and it was awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so when you do an event, though, is it, are you finding talent? Are you bringing talent in from the agency?
So I'm more on the developmental aspect of things. So I essentially kind of helped build the brand. So that goes within, the people that we hire. I mean, it's kind of like catch and release. You just keep going and you mob through the traffic, bob and weave, and just kind of put it together.
As a model, so we talked a little yesterday to give everybody a little background, because I didn't know a bunch about Sophie. So you grew up in LA.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Burbank, California, but I'm first generation American. My parents are originally from Serbia and Croatia, originally.
She still has a little bit of an accent.
That's weird. See, I never felt that. I always thought that I had like a perfectly clean...
It only comes out like a little bit. That's what you get, just like a little hint of it.
Interesting. You can tell I'm not from here.
So you grew up in LA. What kind of upbringing did you have? What kind of relationship did you have with your parents? Are you guys close? And how much did that influence, or did they influence your decision to get into modeling?
Well, for me, it was always just kind of like a notion. I always just kind of knew I was going to be a model. Very, very young age, I got into it. I didn't really take it very seriously until maybe about a few years ago. But my parents and I are really close, actually. We talk like almost every single day. My mom and dad are divorced, also remarried. I have two siblings, older sister, Alex, and the younger one, Vivian. And the younger one is from a second marriage from my father's side. Growing up, I used to go back to the island where I'm from. It's called Krk, and also Belgrade. So I spent a lot of time overseas with my father, and then during like winter time and stuff like that, I was mostly in school here. And we just kind of, my dad was always around and stuff. Like we were all very, very close, but like we had a pretty tight knit, I'd say, upbringing. You know what I mean? We're very, very family oriented people.
That's the best right there. So, Sophie and I spoke yesterday, and I was like, we should do a podcast, and she was kind enough to say, of course. And we wanted to touch or talk about today mental health and modeling. Yeah. And I think it's super interesting too, because you grew up here. So you've kind of seen it in a different light, where everybody's like, oh, I'm going to LA. I'm going to go live in LA. I'm going to go make it big. You watched it growing up. At what age did you decide that you wanted to be a model? And then at how much did it benefit you growing up here to get into that industry?
Believe it or not, I've had this dream for such a long time, and people are like, why didn't you, go this hard sooner? And the truth is like, again, within the mental health aspect of things, the times that I wanted to get into it, of course, I always wanted to, my biggest dream was to like walk down the Victoria's Secret runway fashion show things, and like, it was that or nothing. Like, wow. I was like either full throttle or not at all. And at that time, I was still in school, so I was running track, and so at that, I'll just put it this way, I had a lot of slim thick.
She got that going on, you know what I'm
had
saying?
all that junk in the trunk. All right.
She got them cakes.
Yeah, the cakes were there at the time, and they wasn't even that cool. And to be, athletically built at that time, so it was really difficult for me to get into it because they'd always be like, oh, one inch less, 1 inch less, 1 inch less. And I'd be like, I just don't know what to do. Like, I'm like a teenager. Like, I'm a growing person. So that was like a part of that mental health battle. And you'd think that like growing up in Los Angeles, it would help you. But in fact, it doesn't, because you still go to school out here. And it's usually the people that are from out of state that make it way harder for you to come up, especially because you are from here.
Really?
Yeah. So they're the ones that end up making the like rules. They're like, oh yeah, if you're from LA, you're like, oh, snobby. That's not true. It's always the people that are in LA that are the chillest. And then it's like the people from out of state that bring in new rules that set the bar to like be harder.
That's wild.
Yeah, because they have this like trip thinking that they worked so much harder when in fact it's no different.
Yeah, because you grew up here. So
Yeah.
you're saying that you're like 13 years old and somebody's telling you got to lose weight.
Yeah.
And like you're skinny, you're just athletically built.
Yeah.
How do you take that? How do you deal with that? What's the mentality at that point when you're hearing that? You're young. You probably don't really know how to process it.
Oh yeah. You plaster, models all over your room, because it's motivation. It's like your favorite thing. You literally have like model shrines like everywhere. You're obsessed. And thinking that like I've always felt like I was just that close every single time. Just like that close to being like where I need to be. And to this day I still feel that way. But yet I'm so much closer than I ever was. You know what I mean? And it's like it's like a pinnacle, tiny little hole, and your trajectory is right on point. But for some reason, every time you try to get through that hole, it just goes a little further away.
Right.
So it's almost like a mirage, a tunnel dream. Like you think that you're gonna get there, but you end up knowing everybody, and then your surroundings are essentially what make you now.
That's crazy. Well, so you have that happen. So obviously it's gonna fuck with you. Mm-hmm. That was the first time. When was the next time somebody, when you were modeling, was like, "Hey, Sophie, you need to lose weight," or maybe it's not weight.
Oh, now I need to gain weight.
So yeah, so like, what is it? What's the standard now? Because we were talking on the way over here, and you're 5'10", 6'3" with heels, correct? Mm-hmm. And are there is that the standard, or are models supposed to be taller or shorter, or
well, it just depends.
What's desirable?
So like you have different types of, now there's like media and the way that things are needing to be marketed and sold. You have categories of modeling. See, runway models, you either make it really big, or you make the least amount, but yet you're still the most desired on a runway because you can still rock sample sizes. So that's why you need to be tall and skinny. A lot of times, like that build looks best on the runway, but they changed that vibe too. Like now you can be plus size is like encouraged on the runway too because it's realistic. But I'm saying like the highest paid models in the world are usually like this. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how that goes, because designers make sample sizes, and that's just what you need to fit. Who
is your role model, if that makes sense, growing up, right? Because like, when did you get to your height too? Because you're not a short girl.
Well, my idols were essentially like my 90s angels were Giselle Bündchen, of course. Why? Because she's my like heartthrob, you know what I mean?
Smoke show.
She was always very, very business oriented. Me and her have very similar measurements, and I just kind of idolized her, and I just loved the way she was. So she was one. I loved Candice Swanepoel. She was one of my favorites too. I got to meet her at a signing. I almost cried. I almost died. I almost fell over.
You fangirled her super hard?
Super hard, and like when I was there was a huge like line for the signing, and I remember I was like 17 years old. Alessandro Ambrosio, Carly Kloss, and Candice, I still have a picture of it. We're all behind that gate, and so the guards like popped open the rope, and I went backstage. I was like, no, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where the line is. I'm not one of the models. Right. So they confused me with one of the models. First and foremost, I was like shitting my pants over that.
I bet.
So that was like a huge wake up call, and then as I was walking back, people were asking me for my autograph. I was laughing my ass off because I was like, wait, what? Me? No. I'm just like a fangirl.
But for next time she's gonna be like, I'm supposed to be here.
Well, yeah, I've always felt that way. Like, I felt like I always vibed best with models just because, you share those same struggles.
Right.
People are like, oh, yeah, you have pretty privilege. No, that's not true. In fact, people purposely put things in your way because they think that you get everything easier. So they'll, put obstacles in your way.
That's so interesting. So then when you tell somebody, hey, I'm a supermodel, this is what I do, if they ask or whatever it might be, do you get different vibes from them after that, maybe? Depending on who it is, probably?
Yeah, environmental factors are huge nowadays, kind of like categorizing models. You have influencers, you have petite models, plus size, runway, editorial, high fashion. It's the same thing. Like, within each niche, you have different characters of, how you should, project yourself.
Okay.
So, to make that question a little bit more clear, what do you mean?
If you're around people in Los Angeles, like you said, there's influencers, there's athletes, there's all these different people, and you said you gravitate more towards models. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah.
Is it because you're just in the same thing and that other people are like, oh, we don't want to be around that? Or is it more so because you're just like there's the commonality and the camaraderie between the models themselves?
Well, yeah, well, for me personally, as somebody who does develop, businesses, you also have a keen eye for talent. So growing up, I've always been really good at grouping people together. And naturally within your niche, you only have time to hang out, your work, your play and your work kind of become one. You mix your business with your pleasure. So your niche essentially becomes the people that you hang out with, the people that you work with the most. And LA is kind of like that. A lot of actors kind of stick together, a lot of models. It is cliquey, but in the end, you end up kind of mixing it up, I guess, from time to time. Nightlife is the only place you can really gel with people out here if you want to get on an actual, known basis, I guess. Which is why that's another toxicity about, mental health out here. You can't really network and mix groups unless you are in a public or party setting. Okay. It doesn't have to be toxic, but the truth is when you're out there, you're networking or you're partying. There's no in between.
Do you notice yourself after you started coming up a little bit? You said you really got kicking it off a couple of years ago. Obviously, you're killing it now. Did you notice yourself partying more and going out, or just going out more?
Oh, yeah.
Even if you're not drinking, you're still out till 2 a.m. because that could potentially lead to another opportunity, correct?
Precisely. You never want to you never want to miss out on, let's say, an event, because there could be somebody that you might need to know in that group of people. And that's the whole clout chasing thing. You don't necessarily clout chase. It's when you are in the industry, people are your everything. So again, you always want to be personable, and you want to be there and you want to be square. And sometimes you're exhausted. You work 3 different jobs that day. But in the end, you have to go out there and make that connection, because it just might be that one connection. And believe it or not, there's so many times where I never regretted going out, because I did end up meeting the people that I needed to meet. But yeah, it takes a toll. It taxes your body. Even just, just not sleeping in general and working really hard. So, yeah.
Well, that's interesting too then, because that brings me to another point. There's probably a bunch of times where you're sitting there and you're going, okay, I have no interest in going out. Maybe even there's going to be people there that you don't want to see.
90% of the time.
But
But am I happy?
But you do it. But are you happy?
No.
Because you're not going to want to go out all the time. You're not going to want to do that all the time. You want to sit home and get some sleep. But just like with this, for me, if I'm not out making connections, there's nothing.
But then again, you're right. And you think about this, and it's if it was easy, everyone would do it.
Right.
There's a reason why you got to go so hard. You have to give your 100%, 110% to get to where you want. So if that means that you have to miss out on sleep for a whole year to make your whole life set, then that's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
You're not going to be chasing a pinnacle. You're going to reach your pinnacle, and you're going to go through it. And guess what? A lot of times you're going to have to leave people behind. Because, when you're going through a door, you can't always take everyone with you. Right. You got to go alone and then slowly start pulling the people up. And for me, my life is not nearly as good unless I realize this. There's, just even during, the pandemic, you realize how important it is to have a social setting that you can trust, people that you can trust, like an inner circle, if you would. And for the longest time, it made me realize that while I was going through that door, I didn't realize that I had to leave people behind. And I had to leave a lot of those important things that I used to prioritize behind because I had to start making new priorities. And so, for example, my friend Olivia, I mean, like, we've just been constants in each other's lives, you know, and it happens effortless. I didn't have that until I realized why it is that we get along so well. It's because we're in the same circle. She's like a photographer, videographer, you know, OJ Prada Productions. That was so good. Well, she's still working on it. I'm just shut up. But
Olivia's the best though.
She
for
is
real.
the best. It's like, it's, you know, you think about that and like you guys are always in line. Like everything you do, you guys kind of mob and rob together. You know, it's like it's a package deal.
It has to be.
So it makes sense. Like, it just makes so much more sense to be with people that are constants, and it's hard to hold on to, like, even like touching base with family. Like, it's impossible sometimes because you want to be able to talk to them for hours on end, but you just can't because that's how demanding media is. That's how demanding all of these little, like, you know, now they have those self-tape castings. Horrible.
Right.
I can't stand them. Oh my God, I'm such a
Was that what you were
dweeb.
talking about yesterday?
Oh my God, I feel like such a dweeb. Like, I can't even do it. Like, it's
The
so
scripts
bad.
are pretty funny.
Oh, I'm a model. Like, I'm not an actress. Don't make. At one time, I had to do screamo.
No. Is there video
for
of this?
Liquid Death. They were like literally like, you have to be a Southwestern mom, folding laundry,
Okay.
and then you have to give your best death howl.
Damn. Is there video of that though?
I can't do that. Like, I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna scare everybody. It's scary enough. It's fine.
I need to see this. I need to at least hear it.
One day I'll post it. It'll go viral.
You need to. God.
It's so bad. No, I need to work on my death howl though. I need to listen to some Hatebreed.
Well, everybody's got to have a little bit in their life, you know. Like everybody's got that anger bent up when you're in the shower.
No.
You know, you're just letting it out.
Oh no, I don't like go that hard, but. Coffee.
You got to have the coffee. So, anyways, so you're coming up. As a model, I've got to ask, how often are you worried about your body? I know that's very general, by the way, but I just like feel like that's all wrapped into one.
So it's kind of like 90% of the time when I said, "Oh, I'm not happy," but are you happy? I'm not happy because it's you have to be a professional athlete, pretty much. You know, you have to eat. You know, like, you know, you don't really get hungry because you understand that you just become used to like your normal feeding. You know, like I don't know how to explain it. I'm not that body conscious because it's not hard for me to stay in shape. It used to be because I had a lot more energy expenditure than before. So now I kick it and like I like to like stretch. I like to do a lot of Pilates. I like a lot of cardio. I eat very clean. I have a ketogenic diet. Naturally, I don't really eat too much like carby foods. Like if I do, you know, keep it minimal. I eat more times throughout the day. So these are all habits that you actually form. And I recently kind of went through this phase, and it's called an activation period. It's getting back in the gym, where, you know, sometimes when you don't do anything as a model, and you just eat clean, your body is best for runway. But then you start taking pictures, and you're like not really that happy. So then you start wanting to get back in the gym and toning up, in which case it's an activation period and like a new habit forming process of understanding how much more or less you would need to eat. And I don't really gauge it based on caloric value. I just kind of go as I please. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But like it's more of a feeling and it's ritual that you have to change. So it's like the rituals in your day, what you have to sacrifice, what habits you're exchanging. And that is what it takes to be essentially me. Like you have to make time to go to the gym no matter what if you want to feel better. You have to continue for 21 whole days in a row. You have to eat appropriately. You can't overindulge in any specific thing, you know? And it's like you rely on that strict routine to make money, to feel better. And so therefore you don't really think about, you know, how your body looks. It just naturally forms that way because of how, like, you feel like a Navy SEAL.
You seem like you have great habits, though. It seems like it's so key in anything you're doing, but especially with your job, because it is so scrutinized. And
I try. I do.
I just couldn't imagine like walking in and being like, I think she needs to lose another inch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like mind blowing for me. What was the one time, and obviously you don't have to be specific with people or places or the shoot, what was one time or one thing that's maybe ingrained in your mind that you were told that was like, kind of fucked up, demoralizing, and how'd you use that to motivate you?
It was usually just like, going into like, let's say talent agencies and them not realizing that, I mean, even from my point of view now, I could never turn down a beautiful face or somebody who just like has some kind of emanating light that you can just see that they're talented. It's demoralizing when you walk into an agency, somebody tells you to drop an inch and then tells you that you're too commercial, when in fact you're literally like one of the most leading at this time, like editorial magazine cover, booking agents. You know what I mean? That's what you do. Like, that's what I started doing. And it was hilarious to me to see how, from looking back, I used to feel like a piece of shit. Like, oh, like, you're not going to make it because you smile too much. Or, before I used to smile too much. Now, apparently, I don't smile enough.
You got that RBF?
Yeah. Your job is essentially to be a human hanger. And people are meant to judge you based off of first appearance. So now it's like something that you just kind of is integrated within you. Some people are going to like you, some people are not going to like you, but you don't really feel like that's like second nature. Like, you just don't really care about being judged. Like, that doesn't click to me. Like, I don't feel that. I don't have that sensitivity.
I want to hear one good thing that's happened to you in the last week. It doesn't have to be, business related, anything like that. I want to hear one good thing that that had happened to you in the last week.
My credit score went up 34 points.
Fucking gang, dude. Let's go. That's a fucking awesome one. That's a mental health boost if I've ever seen
that's
one.
That's a good feeling.
So that's where my train of thought was going. So with your coach, and I actually wrote it down, which is why I have a notepad. But are you look for new talent? You acquire new talent for the agency.
When I can, yes.
When you can. Is it difficult being on the other side of that? When you have to tell a girl who's maybe been working hard or thinks she has it, you're not the one for the shoot?
Sorry to interrupt you.
Go.
There.
I'm the worst interrupter. I'm trying not to.
When it comes down to that, you never, in my opinion, you would never turn down talent. It's your fault as an agency for not having, if somebody's that determined, they're going to make your company money. Okay? You have a category to put them in. So if they aren't, if you're 5'4" and you really want to be a runway model, unless you're like literally kissing designers' asses or doing some kind of shit behind the scenes, you're not going to get on. I mean, you can. There's like places where you can.
Just unlikely.
But yeah, it's not really a likely situation. So therefore, you try to express to them that they can do the same thing, monetize, and even make, quadruple fold, being just themselves as an influencer. So that's my job, is to gear them in the right direction as somebody who is elder in a company.
So you try to fit them in, and I'm sure this is true with you. Does everybody have a niche as far like, okay, like she's great for these kind of shoots and she sucks for these ones, or
exactly. Even I don't really work for Screamo. Okay, I'm not.
I can't believe that.
I'm not a Southwestern mom, but I'm sure somebody else can pull that off. Yeah. I mean, I tried, but like I said, like, you don't really take personal offense as a model. If anything, I should be the most butthurt because of how mean they really can be, right? But I mean, you just have that tough skin in the industry. At that point, you just don't really feel.
So talk about that. And I know.
And these people are still new. The people that come into my agency and they want to be a part of something. So it's in my best interest is to like either mentor them and give them proper advice to where they want to go, but you don't just smile. In my opinion, I don't like the way this goes, because a lot of agencies don't have time for you. Oh, we're too bad. No, you're going to be kind enough because you were in their shoes before, and you're going to tell them, for what you want to do, this would be the best criteria to follow, and if you don't make it, I would go the influential route, which is the best and easiest and the freest, in my opinion. Like, you're not bound to any specific contract. So, like, you kind of got to, like, tell them where to go because they don't really know and they're going to take offense. Like, if they don't really know what it is that they're doing wrong. Isn't it the worst when, like, people tell you, oh, fix it, but you're like, I don't know how?
It's at least you're empathetic to that, though. That's huge because for somebody like yourself that's done so well with it and you still have higher and better goals that you want to accomplish, you still understand that, you know, these girls that are coming in, you don't want to kill their dreams. That's not what you're there to do.
Oh, no, I'm not a dream killer at all. I'm a motivational person.
So what's mean them? And when does it happen the most? Or what specific story when you say, you know, maybe the industry is mean or some of the people can be mean? What do you mean by that?
It's kind of like what you hear behind closed doors. Again, it's like, you know, you'll know agents before, you know, and then you pop to a different agency, but so on and so forth. And you hear what people say behind closed doors. They're like, yeah, I don't know, she just doesn't have it. And I'm like, actually, if you were kind enough to actually set up a proper shoot for her and at least try, give it a go, you might see that she might actually be able to fit in within a place that your agency can still make money off of it. See, now that's just business. Every person understands how important people are now, influencing your environment. Now, if I was that person, I can't possibly be my ex-agent because of how nasty he was talking, or not him, but like, you have different agents throughout your life. You've been in Italy or Milan or like wherever, and you're like understanding how ruthless they are because they have a specific look in mind and they have tunnel vision, and they're not going to stop and, like, you know, nurture you and take care of your feelings. But again, being in LA, having a smile, being cordial and nice, even though you don't like somebody in public, I might not like their look for me, but somebody out there will. And that's what you need to understand, is separating business, okay, from what your vision is. Now, when you put the two together, I'm sorry to tell you, but any business has to forfeit some kind of emotional equity.
Of course.
You know?
Of course.
You have to give something in order to get something. So in my opinion, it's being able to set aside what's business and what's vision. So my vision essentially is...
I like that a lot. I like the way you said that a lot.
I like runway. I'm obsessed with really tall, you know, slim figures because that's something that I can relate to naturally. I love it. I grew up watching it. It's my favorite thing to watch. I don't know why. I love it. Okay? But again, it doesn't matter because there's this one girl who just blows people out of the water. I mean, like, she's beautiful, fit, sexy, charismatic, has everything. Like, sex bomb, icon, just has it. You're not going to say, oh, you can't walk in my show because you're not 6'7".
Of course.
You know, like, that's not a vibe. Like, if she has it, she has it. She has the attitude, she has the attitude. You can pull off the look, do it.
When you don't have those, when you have that, somebody telling you those things or whatever behind closed doors, how are you dealing with that internally? Like, for yourself specifically, when someone's like downed you or has said something and things have happened in the past, what tools do you use to get back to where you need to be? Because no one likes anybody talking shit.
Well, precisely why, this is what I've learned, okay? Throughout the years, usually when somebody is pointing something out that they don't like about you, it's a self-projection, meaning that it's their insecurity that shines upon you. So you're often, like, they see something that they don't like because they can't deal with themselves having this quality. So it's a projection. So you have to understand that from their standpoint, as a person, they can't help but point that out because they can't stand that about themselves, 9 times out of 10. Or sometimes you just want to be a good friend, and in your opinion, I think you have spinach in your teeth, and I'm sorry to tell you, but you need to go clean it out and then, you know, get back to it. There's critique and there's criticism. So it just depends on how you're going to decorate the piece of news.
That's an interesting way to put it. I like that because you have to be able to separate that in your business. Mm-hmm. You have to. Yeah, I think my biggest problem, for instance, with this podcast is I like to interrupt. Just like I'm so antsy. I've drank so much fucking Red Bull or whatever.
coffee.
I'm like, let's talk, everybody. Let's fucking go. And then I interrupt
You could sit
people.
here for 8 hours.
Dude, I can literally sit here forever doing a podcast, but that's like my biggest problem. So I try to work on that every single time, so I'm not interrupting nearly as much. But yeah, constructive criticism can be tough, but I think it all depends on the person you are as well, right? Are you willing to accept it? Are you willing to do something with it, right?
Today's podcast is brought to you by one of the absolute best real estate agents in the Cleveland market, Tom Sugar with Howard Hanna Real Estate. Tom's here to help you understand the home buying and selling process. He's here to ensure that you're also always going to get the best price, whether you're buying a home or whether you're selling a home, and his customer service skills are top notch. Give Tom a call at 216-406-2841. That's 216-406-2841. You can call or text him or visit his website, shugsells.com, SHUGSELLS.com. Visit Tom Sugar, everybody. He is the best.
What's one place in your modeling career where you think you can improve?
There's always room to grow. I am, people are like, oh wow, based on how you live, you're so, neat, organized, your whole life really looks put together. But the truth is I'm so not perfect. It comes down to that whole 90% of the time I don't want to go out. 90% of the time I don't want to go to the gym. I'm like lethargic. I'm exhausted. It's too much. So organization within my life and being able to, I guess, pick and choose properly who is going to help shape my life further. Like my present self needs to be able to help my future self by being more organized.
Okay.
So that's where I need to be a little tighter with myself, because you need to be obedient to yourself. You need to be able to actually follow through and say what you're going to do the next day and make it happen, because only you're the only person in your life that can fix it. So being more stern with what it is that I want and need versus what is thrown in my direction. Mm-hmm. Like, it's one thing, like I may not have right now, I did a lot of work to put problems out of my life, right? I don't want to create more problems for my own life.
Right.
So a lot of times you have people around you that will consume you and give you their problems. And it's not your fault that you don't really want to take that. So being able to gauge who it is that is in your life and who isn't. And being very stern about like having like mindsets. So you want a versatility of people, like you want a versatile group of people, but you also want to have people with the right type of mentality. So that's what I need to fix right now is like I have maybe 2 or 3 good connections in my life, but most of them honestly tend to be, I hate to say this, but a waste of your time.
And that's a phenomenal point you just made. So I had gone through I'd put myself through a bunch of shit, and I was being dumb for a while over the last year. So, I did have a friend actually, and I'll call him out. His name's Greg Manuel. He's a really good dude. And I was complaining, I was drinking, I was doing a bunch of coke, I was being stupid. He's like, give me 2 things happened. He's like, I have to separate myself from this because it was impeding on his life, just as you had spoken about, right? Mm-hmm. So I have nothing but respect for that, because you can't impede on somebody's life like that. Mm-hmm. And then the other side of it too that I think was kind of interesting is when you said that, he goes, you need to simplify your life. Yeah. Right? And like that was some of the greatest advice ever, because it's so true when you just yeah, man, fucking mind blowing, because it's so much easier. Yeah. And like I have memories in my head of people saying, oh man, if you write it down, you'll be more organized, you do this. And man, it's so fucking true. It's so true. So what's an average day then for you, like start to finish? I'm sure there's so many variables and it changes, but what's an average day?
Well, my ideal day usually starts, how I would like this to go. Okay.
But are you happy?
I would be, I never used to think this is happiness until I realized how happy I really am when I get my day started early. Okay. So I like to start around, like, if I can, 6. Drink a little coffee, drink some water, whatever. Go to the gym, intermittent fasting, whatever. Come back, make a little breakfast, start banging out emails, reaching out to brands, making brand deals, talking to people, film a casting, go to a casting, come back, and ideally, I mean, or do a shoot, whatever, assuming I got paid that day.
Yeah, of course. That's important. That's the biggest part.
And if you're not, you're like just cranking out emails because you really just need to make deals for yourself no matter what. But if you don't do that, then yeah, you want to be in bed by like 9 so you can get a full 8 hours because, you know, your body can only naturally run on that high frequency and you end up cranking out way more work because you're more organized and more obedient to yourself.
How important is sleep to you?
Very. But I mean, sometimes you go on a 12:36 is what I call it.
Okay.
So you sleep for 12 and then these are the days where you're just absolutely just have way too many things going on, from shows to photo shoots to business meetings to this, that, the other, people from across the country, you know, you have to be there. So sometimes, you know, and then there's an event and you can't miss that because again, you have people there that you might really need to meet. So you go from like 36 hours, you don't know how, you can like micro sleeps throughout the time, and then 12, you're just knocked out. And then you can do this for like a sequence of 3 days before you completely dilapidate as a person. Like just
I love this advice because that's literally what just happened to me while we were here.
yeah, and that's
we didn't sleep for shit.
You're done being a dickhead. Like you're done being that piece of shit,
Dude.
And it's okay. Like I feel you on that because like even though you're not, just being surrounded by those people makes you those people. So doing anything in general, it's people that you want to start surrounding yourself.
You just get sick of yourself.
So I want to start surrounding myself with day people because I realize that there's people out there who are just as successful but aren't tangled up in the nightlife so much. Like they're more of like the day animals that wake up during the day and still are billionaires.
Yeah, like you'd rather catch them at Starbucks at 7 a.m. than at the club at 10.
100%, and that's
I
a
get
part
that.
of growing up. It's just being grown now. Like
What was the party
I'm a
scene?
woman.
God
I'm such
damn
a
it.
little woman.
What was the
That's how I
party scene
feel.
like growing up for you? And how indulged in it were you?
Oh, to be honest, okay, so, I mean, in high school, I never really went out to parties because in Europe, that's where it was fucking at. You know, you want to party, you party harder in Europe than you will ever. So you wait for the whole summer. Never really hung out with the popular kids. I was kind of a nerd. I was like, oh,
You were not a nerd.
no,
Don't even
no,
try to tell me you were a
I was
nerd.
pretty, like, I'm like dorky. I was dorky. I hung out
Okay.
with like a lot of the outcasts. But to be fair, I found them more interesting. Like, I didn't really, like, the parties out here weren't that cool. And plus, all the boys that I outliked, like, you know, my friends were already, like, humping on. So I was like, there's no point in me even trying to go out. What am I going to do there? I'm just going to break my own heart. I'd rather go out to Europe and rage the entire summer and, you know, do whatever the fuck I want and then come back and then be, like, on point. So that's how I grew up. Like, even as a younger kid, like, that's how that was. Like, you know, 14 years old, you're just, like, raging. And it's crazy because, like, I should be out of that scene, but everybody loves going out here. I mean, there's just nothing else to do. I'm exhausted because it's true. Okay, so I lived in Hawaii for 5 years. I'm from an island. I'm an island girl.
Dude, everybody out here has lived in Hawaii for some amount of time.
And, like, you know, you just got used to...
Fucking you.
You got used to the sun, the sand, the negative ions every day. That didn't matter whether you were freaking homeless, which I was. It was fucking great. It doesn't matter whether you were homeless. You're the happiest homeless person because you just don't need anything. And that was one of the biggest lessons I did learn in life. How minimalist I can be and how efficient you can be just through that. And I realized that that's one thing that drives me insane out here. It's an hour and a half to get to the beach, and the beach smells like fucking shit. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. I'm a beach snob. I like when the beaches are nice.
Well, we noticed the difference.
I just don't like it here. It's cold, and there's nobody to communicate with except for your night animals, because that's the extra time that you do have. So then you just kind of get stuck in that loop, and it's exhausting. So I just really want to take a vacation. Anybody out there who wants to take me away, please.
Not kidnap her. She wants to go on a vacation.
Yeah, like you can totally. We'll figure out the rent situation. I'll leave for like 2-3 months and just become a new person. Let's go.
Dude, if you go on a
become
2-3 month vacation, I will take your apartment.
Do you want?
I swear to God, I will pay for that.
I was gonna say, you know,
This is the perfect
you
location.
should start doing podcasts with Polynesian monks, bro.
Do you know any Balinesian monks?
Well, I'm
Because
about to
I will be
become one.
down. Let's go.
Let's go become Balinesian monks for a week.
I would do that.
Yeah.
I would do that.
What? Is that even a word?
I don't know. Monks are a word. Polynesian. Listen, all I know is monks. Wait.
I used to be blonde, so I used to be able to blame my stupidity on that one, but
Isn't there a scene in an Adam Sandler movie
The
where they go
sun-
see monks?
where?
In an Adam Sandler movie, they go see monks in a scene, and he beats the fuck out of one of the monks. I can't remember what movie. Oh, Anger Management.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
my favorite Adam
With Jack
Sandler.
Nicholson. Yeah, or Jack.
pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, so pretty.
Oh,
pretty and gay.
Goose Fraba. What's it like being a supermodel in the dating scene?
Oh my God. You know, you'd be surprised, man.
I don't know what I'm gonna be
It's
right now. I'm
just-
excited for this answer.
Okay, one, because of my natural stern energy, just my look in general is apparently aggressive. Okay? It's aggressive enough. Now add my strong characteristics to it. Now you have big dick energy.
BDE, they're no doubt.
And I'm just like, dude, it's not big dick energy. I'm just trying not to fucking die, and you're not helping. So I have to rely on myself, and so naturally you become an independent woman, and you're really strong and pretty, and people just don't like that about you. Men get super emasculated sometimes, unless they're like really filthy rich, which they're not usually rich unless they're older, so you want to date older. But then you realize you're missing out on like the fun times with like somebody who is your age. So then you're just kind of stuck in the middle, and you're just like, honestly, the people that you do get attracted to don't really have anything but personality. So now all I'm after, I mean, I hate to say it, like you settle for just a decent personality out here. And now you don't find love in LA. That's why I'm a lonely person. I have yet to find somebody who has all the characteristics and traits that I want in a person. But again, I mean, sometimes you don't get to choose, you know? If you fall in love with someone, you fall in love with somebody. Like, it's not your choice. But I mean, LA is literally so repulsive to me.
I believe that.
Oh,
I
it's
believe that.
repulsive.
Even with some of the women that I had met when I was out here, I was like, yo, like we were out and this one chick, you know who I'm talking about. We were out and like she was like pretty drunk. She's like, I just literally walked outside to smoke a cigarette and she's like, can I just stay at your place tonight? I was like, yo, dude, I just met you like 20 minutes ago and I'm cool on a rape charge. So
No way.
yeah, dude, she was just all into it. It was real weird. I mean, it wasn't weird. I'm an amazing looking guy, but no, but I feel that for you, and because you are super pretty, you could be intimidating, like to a lot of guys. I could see that.
Well, what it comes down to is I have like a toxic trait, and it's usually finding people. Like, I'm a great nurturer, motivational person. I like to take care of things naturally. I'm just that way. Like, I can't help but if somebody's over, I like to be overly hospitable, you know, like put my best foot forward. And if someone's down, I don't really let them feel down. And I'm like more of a motivational person. So a lot of times I'll find pieces of work and I'll get them up and running and get them, you know, on their feet in the sense of like, you know, emotionally bring them up. And then their confidence level starts to get out of hand. And then you're just like, all right, you know what you're doing. So
See, that's
bye.
kind of
So
what
now
happened
we
to
part
me.
ways. And that's
See-
kind of how that goes for me.
Yo, I feel that because I feel like I am because I'm like not rich, don't have a six pack, but I have a bunch of confidence for no reason.
No, and that's all you, like, I'm telling you, with people, like, it's hard to talk to me. A lot of times people can't really find what I say interesting. People don't want to hear what I have to say. I'm there to, like, decorate a scene. But here you are, you know, and out of a whole group of men in a party, you'd be the first person to sit down. You're like, hold on, let me just bend over right now and just sorry, not bend over. Let me lean down.
I'd
and
bend
tie,
over.
Let me lean down and tie my clown shoes because I'm about to be the only guy she's talking to at this party.
For sure.
You know, telling good jokes and having a sense of humor, I think, wins over a lot. I mean, now what makes, I think, a relationship amazing for me? Financial stability on both ends. The sex has to be great, obviously. And if you guys laugh a lot, that's like a forever kind of thing. I mean, I'm not really a fighter. I don't really fight, so.
What's the appropriate amount of sex from you on a weekly basis?
Oh, God, I've been out of this scene. Like, I'm I know. it
Me
sounds
too, man. I'm on a
funny.
dry spell,
I'm
but-
lucky if I get laid these days.
Get the fuck out of here.
See? Nobody
Get the
believes
fuck
me.
out of here. You're
You'd
such
be-
a liar.
You would be shocked. You would be shocked.
I think I'm going on like 2 weeks now. I mean, it's been at least a
Wow.
week. I haven't gotten laid in LA. Maybe 3.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
See, I
but-
go 8 months at a time here because it's like for me to have any sex with anybody, everybody needs to know about it.
You are really a monk.
I'm freaking hating my life. This is why this is the part of Los Angeles where when you are super interactive amongst people and when you are popular or getting popular, you don't want to be too promiscuous in this city. For men, it might be different. For me, I can't go out there and be promiscuous. It's gonna really taint my energy. You
Yeah,
know?
they'll be like, Sophie slept with this fucking bar rat the other day or some shit.
and
Whoever.
it would come out. Yeah, so like you have to be really careful. I mean, personally, my sex life. I mean, when I was, and I was like in relationships for years at a time, and I always say like, hey, at least like twice a week would be like normal, right? Or even like once a week, and that's like later in like life. Even if you want to fuck every day, I'm usually down, but you know you got to take a break because that's like natural.
Yeah,
And
you're
in
gonna
the
have to take a
beginning.
break
In the
at some
beginning,
point.
once you're like just starting in a relationship, just depends. You know, first year like you guys are humping like every day,
Every day.
and then like once that starts to sizzle out, and once you guys are like getting to know each other, then usually it's like once a week is like normal, adequate, if that.
You're
And
making me
even
look
then-
like such an asshole for saying
and even
that.
then, you still want to fuck like way more than you ever did in your life.
Wait, what's
if
it
you
like
get
being a
close-
boyfriend dating a supermodel then? Because like do you get insecure boyfriends?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, naturally, it's just I have had insecure boyfriends, but usually it just comes down to like are you like chill? Like it's really just being able to vibe. Like I don't know how to explain that, but it's like that as a model, you don't really pick people who are going to be jealous. You don't really pick people who are going to be not okay with your lifestyle. However, my whole thing right now in this current dating scene, usually athletes, they're like really sought after, and I could, but again, like I don't really have that kind of time because I would have to completely deviate from my path to be getting one of those. So essentially, why in this time frame of my life, you caught me at like some of the hardest times, because I don't really want to search for somebody that I really like right now until I've achieved my own success. That's what got in the way of my relationships before, is the fact that I wasn't fully established and I went over the top caring about this person when this person completely saw all of my necessities invisible a lot of times. So like my necessities kind of came second because they got accustomed to being like cared after that way. And I realized how important it is to nurture your, individual that you're with. So if I can't do that and I can't be the best that I can be for you, chances are I'm not going to want to give my full self to you.
Right.
So right now it's really just being like strict about it, because the sooner I can get through this process, the sooner I can actually think about being going after maybe an athlete if I want to. But it just comes down to, am I going to be certain that that's like, am I like sure of myself before I can confidently go for somebody who I know if he fucks up, he's the one that fucked up, it wasn't me.
Yeah,
I know, because I made sure that I was on point.
It's you, not me.
Yeah.
It's you,
Always,
not me.
it's always
It's
you,
always
it's
you,
never
not
me.
me. Yeah, that's how I feel.
Make that clear. It's always you, and it's never me.
Gang, gang, baby, for real. Well,
Always you.
that's actually really interesting. So you like black guys or white guys?
I'm actually not. I don't have a preference.
No preference.
No preference. I've dated.
So you gotta choose.
I've got to choose. I mean, I don't.
You don't know. You don't care. She's
I don't
taking a
know,
mixed guy
dude.
now.
I will literally.
She's like, it's been 8 months. Damn it.
You get very particular about how you date out here. I mean, like, I'm literally thinking, damn, dude, like, should I just, like, pop through, like, go to the coast of France real quick, Pop it really quick? No, that's a bad idea.
That's a definitely bad idea.
That's a
That sounds like
horrible
a
idea.
trip to urgent care for some chlamydia
Yeah,
later.
totally. That's why it's like, because like that's where your mind goes. You're like, well, I can't have sex with anybody here.
Well, I did.
Everyone's a piece of shit. Honestly, they're gonna talk about it.
I did personal assistant work for some NBA players and coaches, and I've been lucky enough to be around that and in that space for a pretty extended period of time. And yeah, man. Obviously, no names on this, but my one boy, he fucks, and it is like it was impressive, man. Like there were times where I would pick a girl up, or I'd drop a girl at the airport from the house, and then I would just circle the airport and pick up another one. I'm not playing.
Oh my
I'm being
God.
dead serious.
See that they exist.
Oh, they exist.
See out here. By the way, I'm a lady. You know, you don't shit where you eat.
Okay.
You have to be tied out here. Now, I can't always promise if I'm on vacation, I'm going to be on my best behavior. I don't know what I'm going to get into, because that's the whole point of vacation, is you're supposed to let it go.
We'll tell by your
This is the
Instagram
city
story.
where it is so toxic because your house. I mean, the drawers in your house. And there's nothing in the house that can't be presentable to another human because of how much, like, your aesthetic counts out here, too. Like, you're not going to be... People yell at me all the time. They're like, well, you know, like, I just need, like, a better car or whatever. And I'm like, honestly, no, you don't. Like, the coolest people, I think, have, like, normal, like, town cars. It's, like, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
And then, like, of course, like, if you want, like, a nice car, like, that you take to an event, that's cool, too. But it's, like, it's more just to say that you have it because you kind of, it's, like, a necessity to be, like, you have to be making at least $5 to $6K a month to be making it out here.
Oh, I'd say more than that.
Oh, yeah. Like, yeah. But I mean, for me, like, I can't.
Because I
get
make more than
anywhere
that,
below.
but fuck, dude, I struggle out in Cleveland.
I have no clue how I make it. I genuinely, especially recently, I have no fucking idea how I do it. Like, don't ask me for advice, because it's usually fight or flight response.
Do you have an OnlyFans?
No.
Wow. So do a lot, because a lot of models do.
No, I try to reach out to, like, Benefit Cosmetics or, like, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, brand, we're going to get a brand deal, okay? You don't, it's not a choice. It's not a choice. Okay, it's just not.
We need a brand dealer.
not
Otherwise, I'm
a
gonna have to sell a picture of my ass for $50.
Look, I mean, you might have said no, but I'm about to do this commercial. I'm about to beat everybody out on your Instagram, bitch. That's how that's gonna go. Listen, if that bitch is putting on lipstick and her schwaggity ass is making fucking 10K off of your post, well, excuse me, move. Wait, you said no? What?
It's wild,
Let me
dude.
flip my hair real quick. Olivia, let's do this thing. We'll split the earnings, bitch.
Olivia texted me last night, and she's like, "Unless you want to spend $3 to $5 grand," I'm like, I would literally rather shove $3 to $5 grand up Ubi's ass and have to watch it.
Oh my god.
No, there's no way. But no, I wish every podcast was this fun. You're too chill, man.
Really?
No, I love it.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
I'm so
for real.
happy.
I know, this is great.
Yeah, I'm like a, I used to be a chill, like I used to be, you know that like one scale for like women?
Yeah.
You know, the crazy scale?
I know the crazy
used to be
scale.
like that unicorn is how I used to feel. I was like, damn,
Okay.
bro, I'm fucking, honestly, I'm it. And then, the pandemic happened, and I think I just became a crazy 10 and now. Actually, like, the fact that I am so chill actually does kind of make you crazy, because you have to be chill. It's like, I call it the ragdoll method, okay?
Okay.
So if you're about to hit a bag of bricks, okay? If you're about to eat shit so bad, usually the best thing to do is to relax, because if you tense up, you're going to break everything. But if you relax, you're less likely to break bones.
Okay.
So, it's my ragdoll method, is when you're eating shit, just let it fucking fly. Let it fly, and then you know what? You gotta be cool enough to own it after. Like, you gotta be, like, cool enough to sell your story. Like, I've done some questionable things in this city. When it comes around, I mean, God help me. But I'm about to have some swag doing it. I'm not gonna, like...
You're a badass bitch, man. I'll tell you
I
what.
have no idea what I did, but I don't know how it's gonna come out. But if I do become really recognized...
I'm going to recognize you. You shot your boy out.
It's, like, you're gonna have to be able to vibe appropriately and not, like, take everything excuse me, but up the ass. you know?
So is that important then too then? So like you're trying to network with certain people, but you also don't want to necessarily go out alone. So is it really hard, and are you really particular about who you bring with, or who you bring where, because of their vibe?
It's just like their ability to talk to people and what it is like. What is your purpose? What is your why behind why you're going out?
I love that question. What is your why? That's
What
a
is
really
your
good
why?
one. Yeah.
Like, what's your purpose? Like, why are you out here? Are you out here to get fucked the fuck up and pop some pussy, or are you out here? I mean, it's a mirage. You usually don't ever. But or are you going to be out there to go talk to a really really important runway editor or like a Vogue editor? Are you out there chasing the editor to talk to so that you can get your shit published? Or are you out there, twiddling your thumbs, talking to people that honestly will not help you? It's like you don't really, when you go out, you have a usual group that takes you out. You have a promoter, a table, or, you like, for example, Supermodel Management at the Maxim event, we had our own table, and that's usually the clique that I usually like to stick to when I'm going out in the scene. I usually stick to the models because we're there usually for a good time and business. I mean, we're notorious for, we will still get lit, but we were not going to be like,
I want to be at that table.
not there to like do what we're there to do. Like, I'm here to meet that editor and we need to talk to them and we'll just link up and then it's good. And you become closer because you partied with the correct people.
Are you one of those people? Because I know I am. I try to mold myself to be closer in line with their values. I mean, I have strong morals and stuff like that. Not values. Try to align with their personality.
Adaptation.
There you go.
Adapt and be water.
Yeah, I try every time. Is that... I couldn't imagine out here, because I'm sure a lot of these editors and stuff like that and agents, they probably have a bazillion people coming up to them. Is it hard to continuously mold, especially when you're in a room full of them?
Well, it just depends on what value you give a conversation with this person. You have to kind of be able to look at it from multiple different perspectives. To be moldable is not to be, oh, you sold your soul, you're being like everybody else. It's more or less understanding, okay, I understand that you might have feelings. Like I said, you have your vision, but you're going to have to forfeit a part of yourself for that marketing aspect. And it's because of it's like when I tell you, hey, I'm motivating you to get to your goal. Now, if I can't promise, like, I can promise you that I'll get you from point A to point B. You might not like how, but you're going to get there. And you need the right kind of motivation because it's hard. Like I said, if everybody were to do it, you just have to be okay with molding. Or let's say I like one of your characteristics. I would like to take that for myself. Like, I see you as somebody who I would want to lift myself up with and not break myself down with. It's not what I don't have. It's being able to say, how can I be more like you?
See, I love that you're so glass half full. That's one of the first things I realized when I had met you. I was like, this girl, glass half full, whole time. Even when shit is not good,
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
when we go into two different coffee shops, one of them's closed and the other one's closing in 10 minutes. Olivia's just running us all around.
You don't even get to drink your coffee.
We don't get to
'cause
drink
you're
our
clumsy.
coffee and we're just struggling.
Because I'll just be knocking it.
Sophia spills it all.
I'm just spilling all of
Oh,
everybody's
yeah, I
coffee.
forgot. Yeah, so
I don't
guys,
think my glass is that full.
The glass is full.
bro, the glass was empty when that got done. Guys, yesterday we were getting coffee, and Liv, who's producing and filming and editing a lot of this, is drinking her coffee peacefully with her computer, and Sophie just comes up and just smacks her coffee right into her fucking face. Goes all over the table. Almost ruined the Mac. Not good.
Sorry.
It was a blonde moment.
Yeah.
So you used to
I'm
be
a baby
blonde.
giraffe. It comes with the price.
Yeah, I'm a baby.
I'm a baby giraffe. I just kind of waddle around, and sometimes it's hard to control these motherfuckers. Like,
Dude.
it's a 6'2" wingspan. It's not a
You have a
joke.
6'2" wingspan?
Yes.
No way. Can you dunk?
Yeah, I'm good at all sports.
You look athletic.
I will fuck shit up.
You got some killer eyes. You like when she stares at me, she stares into my soul.
Yeah, a lot of people say that.
That's awesome. I'm kind of jealous. Mine are like light blue eyes, like I'm a nice guy.
No, actually, those are the scariest ones.
That better be. I like that.
Those are the
Rawr.
scariest ones. The pale blue eyes are the ones you want to run away from.
Yeah, you fucking
They're
hit the
like-
nail on the head again, dude. I'm a Pisces too.
Oh shit.
I am. Yeah, not fucking good.
That's crazy.
What is your what's your next goal? So, or actually, I'm going to rephrase that. When you make a goal, are you making short-term goals or multiple short-term goals and one long-term goal? How do you work that? Because I'm assuming you have little goals that you achieve, but you have a long-term goal down the
Maybe.
road.
I'm a pusher. I'm a doer. I'm a goal digger.
Oh, I like that. A
gold
gold digger.
Yeah.
Oh. Ooh, I'm going to use that.
Yeah,
a
gold
gold digger.
digger, that's
Let's
right.
go.
No, so for me, it's just like make a 5-year plan if it's something really big. Like if you have really big dreams, you gotta be able to like at least reach milestones. So within my successful career, I mean, like I didn't do any of that, and now I'm realizing that even if I write it down on a calendar, even though it's a rough draft and you might not always make that plan, set a goal. Like let's say, okay, I don't know how or why, but I need to be able to sell or pitch to at least 80 brands, and out of those 80 brands, I need to be able to make like at least $4,000 this week. I don't have a choice. Okay? So you really, really, really do practice those skills to like you never ask. You don't ask. Like you provide, like in sales, for example, you always provide like why do you need me? And so you create that demand. So you have to create your demands as you go, and that's what it essentially means to have a goal. Like you make other people need you so that they can help you achieve your goal.
That's really cool. That's a great way to put it. I agree. Yeah, we were talking about like
This is the psychological mind fuck of a podcast.
isn't it though?
Yeah.
We're here to fuck you up. It's like a therapy session,
It so is.
but you don't have to pay for it. It's the best part. Yeah, that's crazy. That's actually insane that you have experienced so much, and you're 27.
Yeah.
At what time does a model age out? At what time is there
I'm
like
so grateful for this because now it's like cool to be, bubble butt. It's cool to be stick skinny. It's cool to be a plus size model. It's cool to be 65 and a supermodel. So you
Dude.
can do this as long as you fucking want.
I love the MILFs, bro.
Now it's like, all right. But ideally, yeah, I want to make my first like solid mill by 29.
That's a really good goal. That's a really good goal.
I want to be able to get there before 30.
What's your when do you have a shoot next?
I was supposed to have one today,
Oh, really?
but it didn't really do anything. I mean, right after this, I'm going to go ahead and actually film some of the castings that I have to film.
Oh, are those what you were reading to me yesterday?
Yeah.
That shit is funny. So this is what Sophie gets. Basically, actually, let you explain it because I don't want to fuck it up. So please explain what you have to do during these.
Well, this is this is just like a small one. Oh, this is for Lululemon. They want me to double Dutch.
Yeah, like
So
that's.
I don't know where I'm going to find people. I mean, the whole setup. It's again, it's how bad do you want this?
You could do it right outside your. You could do it right outside your apartment here on the sidewalk.
And usually, this is how these castings go. You have to be able to be, be water. So if this is just a casting, like it's not guaranteed, but you have to spend about 7 hours editing, popping wheelies, swallowing hot dogs on the Eiffel Tower, while popping out of a fucking cannon with chicks. Like I don't know. Like it's literally what they want models to do now. So now I have to go. If they ask you, can you double Dutch? And you can't double Dutch. You say yes. Absolutely, I can.
I'm gonna figure it out. Yeah.
I'm athletic enough. I'll learn in a day. So
I think a lot of people make that mistake though. I think a lot of people will be like, "Oh, I'm not experienced enough for that." It's like,
No.
dude, you take the opportunity and you fuck it all the way up all you want and go learn something, dude.
And more often than not, people will admire your confidence more.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's funny. Like if I can't do a death growl, yeah, I can.
I have to see this video. It's fucking hilarious.
Oh my god, it's
What's the most? Have you ever gotten something that you had to do or you were asked to do? So basically, what you have to do is somebody sends you something. You have to read the script and make a video of it, and then do you send it in and they approve it?
Yeah, so you script it and then you send it to the person that's connecting with all of those casting directors, and then they send your video in and you either hear a yay or a nay. The other day I did VR bikini yoga, so that's a new
nice.
thing. That's a whole thing with immersive shopping as well.
So
That's what I
wait,
wanna get
virtual or
into.
reality bikini yoga?
Yeah, that was like one of those things where you wouldn't realize just how gnarly it is to have cameras on every single part of your body as you're doing. I mean, it's ingenious, honestly. It's great. It's a great YouTube series. It's very, very challenging too. But I was like, this is where life is going now.
What did you wear for a VR? Just a bikini the whole
Just a
time?
bikini, and we're doing like intense yoga.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's a commercial or it's going to be an ad of some sort?
No, it's literally like a yoga class.
Oh, like you
And you
are
can
in the
see-
yoga.
yeah.
Oh, no way. That's sweet.
It's called VR bikini yoga.
I'm about to hit some yoga with you one of these
Oh
days.
my
Let's
god,
go.
I still haven't seen that video. I mean, the shit that this is the kind of stuff that you do not realize as a model. Like you end up in situations, but like, it's not that bad.
So that leads me to this. What's your most uncomfortable situation?
That would
you've been in?
that would top that. That was pretty. Wasn't prepared for that, but again, it's like it's still cool. I mean, it's nothing bad about it. You just kind of aren't used to that many cameras being able to hit that many angles.
Like
Now you just kind of gotta.
are we talking
go
like
for it.
like you got cameras in your vagina angles?
Pretty much.
Man, what are you gonna do with that?
What
I'm gonna be doing yoga. It's like,
Why
oh,
would
there's
you
Sophie's
ever need to
vagina.
do yoga in a bikini.
You don't.
Think about this. What's gonna get most views? Like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like it's like I said, if you need to go double dutch in a bikini, and pop a wheelie on a Harley Davidson while swallowing hot dogs, then if they ask you if you can do that for $300, more often than not, no, you can't, and no, you won't.
Right.
But it's gonna bother you because you're not gonna pass up the opportunity. So you're gonna damn well try.
If I ever see a commercial of you riding a motorcycle eating hot dogs,
I'm probably gonna end up in a position.
it's gonna be something like that.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I have no idea. I'm gonna be in a Liquid Death commercial. Still.
I hear. So I
I'm
found
still
out
gonna
Liquid
be in
Death.
that.
It's a sparkling water, right?
Yeah, it's like supposed to. That's another thing with the whole.
I always say that there's a lot of people out there that want the best for you, but don't necessarily believe in you, right?
Right.
How have you dealt with that when you're like, I'm a model? I'm sure you've ever gotten the response or gotten the look of like, oh, okay, you know what I mean, or whatever it might be. How do you deal with that? And then how do you just kind of push those people to the side a little bit and say, what you think really doesn't matter to me?
Well, yeah, it's all about who's with you and who's not with you. A lot of the time, somebody might think that projecting their insecurity on your lifestyle or the way that you need to live your life to achieve your goal is just the way that they need to see it for them to be accepting or whatever. So it's one thing to believe in you, but it's another thing to believe in how you get there. For me, I mean, personally, if you have a goal, A to B, if you can get there, freaking get there, because you're not going to be a happy, satisfied human until you do. So if somebody has a problem with it, either A, they're going to help you, or B, they're just going to be those shitters, shit talkers.
Yep.
Like, do you really need that in your life? No. So then you just deviate paths. Because honestly, you don't need that kind of negativity in your life. Do you? No. Leave that shit behind. Fuck these people.
I agree.
You know, like, no. Like, if you're not going to be there to support me and help me, like, fix problems, then there's no reason for you to be here.
And I had to make some of those tough decisions too, even with family. It's like, you know what? Like, if you don't want to take time to figure this out, then see you later. And it's not meant to be mean. It's no hate. It's just, I got to do me.
That's precisely how I feel. And it's not, like, I'm an adult, done pretty well for myself, I'd have to say. I'm proud of me. I don't know about you. I'm a confident individual. Like,
I think you're killing it, man.
I'm happy with how it's turning out, and it's only when I decided to leave other people's opinions at the door that I started to make moves. Like,
Okay.
you just can't care. You just cannot care, and you have to be selectively accepting of whose criticism or critique it is that you gave, like, or take.
I get that. Yeah. That's a really good answer. That's a really good answer. So, I guess we're going to wrap it up here. So, I ask everybody this. It's a two-part question. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your happiness, with 10 being the highest? And then if you're not a 10, what do you think you can do to get closer to being a 10 on the happiness scale?
I'm going to go ahead and say,
But are you happy?
I'm going to go ahead and think for my future self and say that I am a 10 happy
Okay.
because I did achieve everything that I wanted to achieve.
That's
And
awesome. That's awesome.
That's how that
That's
needs to
awesome.
go. I mean, it's struggle is real, but it's part of the process. You just have to love that process. So I'm going to have to love it and be happy about it because this is the route that I chose. So I'm going for it. So I'm going to go 10 happy. But am I happy? If I'm not now, all the time, consistently, I will be.
See, I like that. You have glass, again, back to it. Glass half full, everybody.
Yeah.
It's
There's no
so
reason to
important.
live otherwise, I mean, you got to look forward to something.
Yo, that is so important that you see the world that way and then the way you approach things. And I didn't find you standoffish at all. I know you saw that before where people might be intimidated by you. But you are. You're a smoking hot model. And yeah. So like I see where the intimidation could come in. But you're just nothing but kind, and I so appreciate you coming on and taking the time today because I know you're busy.
No, I'm happy to be heard.
Well, we're gonna do this again at some point. I'll be back out here.
You made my first podcast.
Yo,
experience
let's
awesome.
go. You're the fucking best.
Yes.
You're the best.
Yes, thank you so much. It was so much
Gang,
fun.
gang, baby. We're in good shape.
Gang, gang.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you later.
All right.
Till
thank
next
you.
time.